Confused about the difference between trademarks and copyrights? You're not alone, and today we are going to take a step back and explore each one of these to figure out how they can help you and your business. When it comes to legal stuff for your business, it tends to get over your head very quickly, especially if you're not used to dealing with these things. The unfortunate reality, if you don't like dealing with these things, is that you have to. At some point, you are going to encounter trademark or copyright, or maybe both kinds of law, and hopefully you get a head start on it so that when you do have any kind of issue come up, you know how to handle it. Trademarks are called source identifiers because they are a shortcut for us to see exactly who's producing a product or brand. When you go through the aisles at the supermarket, for example, and you want to grab a bag of your favorite chips, it's easy for you to do that by just glancing at whatever bag it is on the shelf and recognizing it as your favorite brand. If we didn't have something like that available to us, we might have to go and read the back of every single bag of chips to find out who made it, what's in it, where they came from, what it tastes like. Think of trademarks as this shortcut so that when people see a product out there, they can instantly recognize it as yours. And hopefully they have a good brand association with your business, so they want to buy more of your products. Hence the trademarks making it easier for them to do so. Trademarks are there to protect our consumers from any kind of confusion between us and our competitors, and they're also there as a shortcut for our customers to make sure that they're always buying the product that they intended to. On the other hand, we have copyrights, and copyrights are there to protect us. Trademarks are designed to protect our customers, and the copyrights are designed to protect us as business owners. As a business owner, you're often creating new content, photos, Instagram captions, just lots of content in general. And we want to make sure that this content is protected. And the way that that's done is through copyright law. We have a lot of great resources on this channel all about copyright law. If you want to dig into it in more detail, we'll link to some of those below, but make sure that you just understand that when you have any kind of work, whether it's a photo or a blog post or a caption, that is considered an original work as long as you wrote it yourself or you hired someone to do it. That's like yours if they're giving it to you at the end of the day. And that is protected by copyright law. This means that other people can't go out and use those works, those blog posts, photos, etc., as their own. This is important because you're paying money or spending time to create these resources. And as a society, we want to encourage you to continue to create these amazing resources for your community and for everyone else in your audience. Copyright law means that if someone does steal these resources, that you can go after them because there are repercussions and consequences for that person who has stolen your content. If you're still confused, think of trademarks as things like brands, short little logos, taglines, and think of copyrights as applying to longer work forms like a blog post or a photo. Another great way to differentiate the two is that trademarks are designed to help someone understand and recognize the brand behind the trademark, whereas someone reading a blog post isn't necessarily going to know what brand it came from. There's no one picture or phrase that really identifies that blog as belonging to someone, or even that photo, even if it has a certain style, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's linked to a certain brand. Now that you know the difference between the two, you've learned the rules so we can break them a little bit. There actually is one area where something can be both copyright protected and trademark protected, and those are logos. So I know I mentioned logos as a source identifier, right? That little quick glance that you give to know whether it's the right bag of chips that you're buying or not. But logos can actually be protected under both forms of law, especially if they are decorative and really creatively design. So for example, just fonts, or like even if it's a special font or a hand-drawn font, that isn't going to be considered eligible for copyright protection. But if you did have some sort of drawing or artistic work in connection with your logo, now we're looking more like at something that could be both protected under copyright and trademark law. Obviously, we want all the protections that possible to apply to all this good stuff that we are creating, and so it's important for you to know that if you want to have the maximum protection available for your logos. We haven't even begun to touch on registering as a trademark or a copyright. The cool thing is that if you are using or displaying a logo in the United States, so for example on your website, and people from the US are accessing that website, it's considered in use, and trademarks are based on use. When a trademark is in use, You are actually acquiring trademark protections and ownership rights right from the start. That's a really cool thing about trademark law, is that you don't have to register it to start earning these things. But of course, registering your trademark is going to give you the maximum amount of protection available, especially when it comes to practical uses. So for example, if you go to Facebook and you see that someone else is using your logo on their stuff, or someone else has a logo that looks really similar to yours, maybe it's just a different color, or they just change very slightly one little thing, that might be a infringement of your trademark. And if that's the case, then you want to go to Facebook and report the trademark infringement. However, if you do that and you don't have a registration, a state or a federal registration with the US government or the Canadian government, Australian government, the EU, a registration of some sort. I'm in the US, so I'm going to use the US one as an example because that's the process I'm intimately familiar with. But if you don't have any kind of registration and you go to Facebook and you cry to them about someone who stole your logo, Facebook is going to delete your email and never respond to you. This is because they require some sort of minimum registration to even look into the case before they look at removing it. They don't want to get in trouble for removing something that they shouldn't have. I know it probably seems like this person's ripping you off, but anyway, long story short, Facebook could get caught in the middle of a he said, she said battle. They're not going to do that. So instead, they're just going to say, okay, who has registration here? Provide it to us. And if you can't do that, then too bad, so sad, we're going to ignore you. So that's why registration is really important in today's day and age. It didn't used to be like that, but that's what we're looking at now. Registration is also really useful because it can save you a lot of heartache and headaches later. From personal experience in both working with over 100 trademark clients in my former life as a purely trademark attorney, or in my own business, going to the trademark registrar and registering something a little too late. Sorry, been there, done that, even myself as a trademark attorney. What I have learned is that if you don't register your stuff to start with, even if you are the first user and you have that priority access and rights building in it, if you're the last one to register or you just come after somebody else, it's going to make your life really difficult. And the good news is it's really not that hard to get a trademark registered, especially if it's not one that you're using quite yet. Like if it's a course or a product or a program or podcast that you're coming out with in the near future, but it isn't quite here yet. Those are the easiest to get registered. If you want to check out how to do that, we have a couple other videos. I'll link to them below, or you can check out the other videos on this channel. And I wish you the best of luck in registering your trademarks. If you want to learn more about copyright registration, that video is popping up on your screen now. So go ahead and go there to check out that next video all about what it's like and when to register your copyright. We'll see you back here next week when we talk about how to trademark your business name. Bye, everyone.